What would you do if your someone's at home? But I'm on the bedroom floor. Ooh, hiccups. Cause he's hungry. All right, so peace, blessing, love, and light. I should have waited until the hiccups are gone, but I didn't want to prolong this as I prolonged already with the rest of my content. Ooh, excuse me. Bear with me. So, as I was editing my first video, I realized that I forgot to talk about Amber and Jordan. Honorable mention, honorable mention. This was actually my favorite couple, and Amber was definitely very instrumental in making this season memorable. There were some jokes during the reunion about her being a man hater and stuff like that, and I don't like that she necessarily embraces those names, because I think she's warmer than that. I think there are layers to Amber. I think she is a phenomenal parent, especially when it comes to her daughter Emma, and being honest about wanting to protect her and not just having anyone around her. I think that's important, especially in light of what's going on today in the news with some people, certain, cases, files that are out there. I don't need to say much, but it's the Wild Wild West out here, and it's important to protect our children. So that's very honorable and commendable, not only just because it's great parenting, but it just shows overall her character, and she's very protective, because there are some children that do not receive that same type of protection, love, security from their parent. Um, Jordan was one of my favorite guys. I liked when he cooked the cookies when they were still getting to know each other at the pods, and he has sent over, some cookies, and the ladies enjoyed it. I had actually put that down before in my notes when I was going to do them individual episode reviews. Um, but it was unfortunate that the marriage only lasted 4 months. And when I tell you, I kind of teared up when they made it, and it was beautiful for what it was. I think that her Amber's brother was negative the day of the wedding, and he shouldn't have, I guess, like, try to be discouraging, especially after the way things went when he and Jordan met at the apartment and the waffle conversation, and it just seemed like it was good vibes. So that was just kind of like, okay, the shoe dropped, right? I think that Amber is surrounded by wonderful friends, as far as like the ones that we saw that are actually close to her before this experiment, the ones that were there when she was trying on the dress. I think that she means well, but I think that she's been hurt. She's like a wounded soldier. She's a warrior, but it doesn't mean that the scars are not there. So she just needs a little bit more healing, a little bit more treatment. She has PTSD basically. She needs one-on-one, um and to kind of unpack the fact that I don't think she's ever really felt safe. And so this experiment wasn't just a place to find love. It was a place for her to, I think, allow herself to be vulnerable, because she's very protective. She's very nurturing, but I don't think she's necessarily put herself first. And she struggles with that. And I think that's where the substances, especially alcohol, comes in, and it affects her ability to really fully be herself, her best self. And I think that's what happened, because Jordan mentioned that he was the best man at one of his friends' wedding, and there was an issue that happened, and Amber had gotten very intoxicated. He had to leave her in the car for a bit to go do best man duties, and he was embarrassed. And I wonder what would make Amber get to that point? Is it that she felt out of place with Jordan's people, his friends, his community? She did bring up a good point that she felt as though he was avoiding coming home to her. And she said, why would you want to stay out in the city because he had not moved to Mount Vernon, which is where she has a home, and she lives with Emma, who's her daughter. And she brought a good point. Why would you not want to come home to your wife? She said she had this idea of what marriage is supposed to be, and you know, we come home from work to each other, we spend time together, stuff like that. So she said that she didn't think he was ready, and if that was the case, then she should have. I don't think that they should have really gotten that far if that was the case. They could have also done what Connor and Breezy chose to do, which is still date, but not necessarily take it there yet. And I think it would have been great for Jordan to get to know Emma a little bit more and see how that dynamic works and ease into finding a middle ground. Maybe not too far from Mount Vernon, not too far from, I believe he's in Columbus, and they could have maybe found a middle ground or something, you know. But apparently, it was only a 45-minute drive. So Amber said that shouldn't have been an issue. But then Jordan said that um, I think she only visited twice. And on top of that, he says that he also went to her, spent the time at Mount Vernon, at Amber's home, spent the time with Emma, cooked, and then would leave to work around 5 a.m. and commute. So it was just kind of like hard, especially starting off. And then he also said that he felt like he couldn't, I guess, take off that stain, that pressure of Amber's past, the ghost of past love, past experiences, past hurt, past trauma, all of that. So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned them because they were my actual favorite couple. And then Christine and Vic started creeping up on me. But this segment is mainly about Amber. I think Amber has a lot to offer. Amber definitely helped a lot of the ladies get through their experience and stood up for them, including her sticking up for Breezy when her sticking up for Jessica when Chris was being disrespectful and broke it off and was trying to speak negatively about her body and not being a woman that does Pilates every day. Very insulting and disrespectful behavior. Amber also looked out for Brittany and was the one that told her about the situation with Devontae going to Austin to go see Rufus with Priyanka, Bree, and Ashley. So Amber has really been there for a lot of people. And I also want to point out that there was a segment where she had to step out, and it seemed as though nobody really went to go comfort her. And at that moment, it really showed that maybe there's a reason why Amber is definitely always guarded because it doesn't matter how much she seems to give. She's just seen like as, oh, she'll be all right. She just needs to collect herself. And it's sad because there are some people that are really dismissed. And Amber is one of those people that she's the strongest friend. So sometimes you have to check on your strongest friends. And it's so sad. It was a whole lot of those people that could relate to her experience as far as like, um, coming into the pods, coming with these insecurities. She's a woman first. Yes, she mentions Emma, and maybe she may use Emma as a crutch, but she deserves to have a village where she feels cared for, and I hope that she finds that. So good luck to both Jordan and Amber.